What if the most controversial relic in Christianity isn't in Jerusalem or Rome, but hidden in a dark cathedral vault in northern Italy? What if this cloth holds not just the face of Jesus, but the moment of his resurrection, burned into linen by an energy science can't explain? The air inside the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin is still, lit by shafts of dusty light. Pilgrims kneel beneath the glass case, their eyes trembling, their fingers crossed. Before them, a linen cloth, 14 feet of unanswered questions. This is the Shroud of Turin, 14 feet of mystery, a ghostly image, a trail of blood, and behind it, a centuries-long war between faith, forgery, and science. It isn't just a religious object, it's a battleground. It's a relic that splits believers and skeptics right down the middle. Some call it the world's greatest hoax. Others call it the holiest artifact ever discovered. But no one calls it ordinary. If you're ready to explore the deepest research on this relic, start with The Blood and the Shroud by Ian Wilson. The shroud isn't painted. It's not dyed. Under microscopes, the image vanishes into the fibers. No brush strokes, no pigments. Just a sepia-toned ghost burned into fabric. It depicts a man, arms crossed, eyes closed, wounds in wrists and feet, lacerations across the back, blood around the scalp. It's not a depiction, it's an imprint, as if reality itself scorched this memory into cloth. When reversed into a photo negative, the image becomes startlingly detailed. The face of a man, calm, symmetrical, marked with bruises. You can count his ribs, trace the flow of blood from his hands. The image has depth, texture, spatial accuracy that 14th century artists couldn't have dreamed of replicating. Scientists tried recreating the image using everything from medieval painting techniques to lasers. Nothing matched, not even close. And then came the forensics. Experts identified over 100 wound patterns consistent with Roman crucifixion practices. The man's body bore abrasions around the shoulders, likely from carrying a heavy beam. Blood flow patterns matched gravity-induced angles from a body suspended upright. If this is a medieval forgery, it's the most advanced in human history. If it's real, it may be the only physical evidence of resurrection ever recorded. In 1988, 3 labs, Oxford, Zurich, and Arizona, took slivers of the cloth. They ran radiocarbon tests, hoping to end the debate. Result? The cloth dated between 1260 and 1390. Medieval. That should have closed the case. But almost immediately, problems arose. The section tested was taken from a corner, known to have been patched after fire damage in 1532. That means the sample may not reflect the original fabric at all. Historians argued contamination, centuries of handling, oils from pilgrims, water damage. Even cleaning procedures before testing could have introduced new carbon, skewing the results. Enter new evidence. In 2005, researchers proposed a method of testing microfibers from the inner threads, avoiding contamination. The result? A possible 1st century origin. Meanwhile, blood analysis showed something startling: human blood. Type AB, a rare type most commonly found in the Middle East. What's more, researchers found proteins consistent with trauma and death. The weave of the linen matched samples found near Masada, a Jewish fortress from the 1st century. The style of cloth was unknown in 14th century Europe. Then came the image, again. The 3D effect, confirmed by NASA imaging experts, could not be faked by known techniques. And the theory that emerged next shook everything. The image was not caused by contact. It was caused by radiation, a sudden release of energy from the body itself, like a burst of ultraviolet light. Could a cloth capture an event that defies biology? Some researchers think the shroud's image is the result of a burst of radiation during the resurrection. Not fire, not heat, but something more exotic. One hypothesis: vacuum ultraviolet photons. energy levels capable of altering atomic bonds without burning. Scientists from the ENEA, Italy's National Agency for Energy, tested this idea using ultraviolet lasers. Their conclusion? Creating a replica image with the same resolution would require a burst of radiation equal to several 100 million watts, released in less than 1 second. No medieval artist had access to particle accelerators. So, where did this energy come from? Theories split. Some say it was a divine event, resurrection itself encoded in physics. Others suggest a lost technology, one so advanced it mimics what we'd now consider supernatural. Now the questions deepen. If not a forgery, and not fully explained by science, could the shroud be a fingerprint of something, or someone, outside our understanding? Ancient cultures speak of divine messengers. In Christian tradition, it's angels. In Mesopotamian myths, it's beings who descend from the heavens. In almost every major civilization, there's a pattern. Luminous visitors, death-defying healers, resurrection tales that mirror the Christ story. Is it possible the image on the shroud was created by a force not divine but extraterrestrial? Or perhaps both? What ancients called gods, we now call advanced intelligence. Theories of ancient astronauts suggest humanity's greatest leaps, fire, language, religion, were sparked by non-human intervention. Could the shroud be one such artifact? Of course, that's where belief collides with science. Critics argue the image was simply a masterwork hoax. They cite the lack of documentation before the 14th century, artistic techniques that could mimic bloodstains, and the psychological pull of religious relics. But none of it has stopped the shroud's pull. It continues to defy, to inspire, to divide. Since the shroud was first revealed to the public, its caretakers have had to contend with more than pilgrims. They've faced sabotage, fire, and relentless pressure. In 1532, a blaze nearly destroyed the cloth. It left behind telltale burn marks and water stains still visible today. And when it was publicly displayed in 1898, the first photograph taken of it ignited worldwide debate. Behind the scenes, power struggles brewed. Who owns the shroud? The House of Savoy, once Italian royalty, claimed custodianship until 1983, when it was handed over to the Vatican. But even now, access is tightly controlled. Scientific teams must fight through layers of bureaucracy to get even a glimpse. Throughout history, symbols have spoken louder than words, and the shroud is packed with them. From the positioning of the body to the geometry of blood trails, some researchers argue that hidden mathematical codes are embedded in the design, ratios resembling the golden mean, alignments that suggest intentionality. Artists and mystics alike have attempted to interpret the image, suggesting it may be more than a snapshot of death, but a map of resurrection itself. Could it encode divine structure? Could it be a cosmic fingerprint? The Shroud of Turin isn't the only linen mystery. Across the world, shrouds bearing alleged miraculous properties have surfaced. The Sudarium of Oviedo in Spain, the Veil of Veronica, even Buddhist relics wrapped in sacred cloth claim to carry spiritual energy. These parallels raise a new possibility, that humanity has always been drawn to fabric not just as material, but as message, a medium for divine preservation, and perhaps communication. So where do we land? Faith still battles skepticism, science still chases certainty, and the shroud still lies in silence, locked away in a vault. For now, because the mystery doesn't die, it mutates. Every discovery raises 2 more questions. Every explanation feels incomplete. In a way, the shroud is the perfect metaphor for faith itself, elusive, unprovable, but deeply, overwhelmingly felt. If you're ready to keep unraveling ancient truths, watch our next deep dive. Enlil is Yahweh, Anunnaki God of Israel, and the Old Testament Bible. It's already waiting for you. And if you want one final expert look into this mystery, Read The Blood and the Shroud by Ian Wilson. Link in the description. See you in the next one.